Hey everybody, Matt with PowersAutographs.com. Today we're going to talk about game used items. I've got 9 tips for you on buying game used items. Your first question may be, what is a game used item? A game used item is, of course, an item that was actually worn in a game by an athlete. So, for example, a jersey or a bat or a pair of cleats. For example, I've got a pair of Buster Posey game used and autographed cleats here. You can see the dirt on the bottom here. And it's got Posey's name on the front here. So Buster Posey actually wore these in a game, so his feet have been inside these cleats. It's got his blood, sweat, and tears all over these here. So if you're a Buster Posey fan, this is a fantastic collectible to have. Just knowing that Buster Posey's feet were actually in these cleats. And so tip number 1 is going to be cost. Game used items, of course, are going to cost a little bit more than your typical autographed item. And that depends on the item, the athlete, the authentication it comes with, and whether or not it was used in a particular game. And I'll go over those in the other tips there. So just be prepared to spend a little bit more money on a game used item than you would a typical standard autograph item. 2 is authenticity. Some of the big authenticators for game used items are, for example, like mirrors, PSA, DNA. Those would be kind of the two major ones there. Some other authenticators for game-used items would be items that they're from their own specific athletes that they are exclusive representatives of. So take, for example, like Steiner Sports. They represent Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. So they will also supply game-used items from them, and they will come with a certificate of authenticity from Steiner Sports. Panini is another one. They represent Andrew Luck and Kobe Bryant, for example. So game-used items would come with their certificate of authenticity. Also, some of maybe the smaller known companies who represent some of the bigger athletes, like Lojo Sports represents Buster Posey. So a lot of game used items for Buster Posey will come with their certificate of authenticity. So those are just some of the big names there that will represent and authenticate a lot of the game used items. Another tip is a lot of the game used items will come with letters of authenticity from the athlete themselves. So they'll state the item or actually show a picture of the item saying that I wore this item on this particular day or this particular game, and they'll also autograph that letter for you. So if it doesn't come with one of those authenticators, a letter of authenticity, of course, from the player is also acceptable as well. Tip number 3 here is some of the most desired items, of course, are going to be from specific years and also from specific games. So take, for example, Buster Posey. The Giants won the World Series in 2010 and also 2012. So anything game used from those particular years or from the World Series, of course, they're going to be highly sought after items. So if you're looking to get a game used item, finding one from a particular game or a year or a particular feat, say, for example, a player's bat from his 3,000 hit game, that, of course, would be a very sought after collectible. So that's just something to keep in mind when you are looking to pick up a game used item, is try to get it from a good year or a game as well. Tip number 4 is finding a highly desirable item. Jerseys are going to be number 1. They tend to be the most sought after game used item. Another popular item for baseball is going to be, of course, bats. Cleats are also great as well. Hockey, game used hockey sticks are going to be great. Baseball, you have game used baseballs, which you'll see a lot of. Of course, they use a ton of baseballs in the games, so you'll see a ton of those. Many of those will be Major League Baseball authentication, which is another authenticity that you can use for game used items. You just go to MLB.com/authentication, and they do a lot of the baseball items there for you. Tip number 5 here is just keep in mind that some game used items are not going to be autographed. They're just going to be sold as is. For example, like a jersey without an autograph. So if you see something that you like that doesn't have an autograph, try not to be shied away from it, because the chances are you probably can get that autographed by an athlete at a later date. So if you see something you want that's not autographed, I certainly would suggest picking it up there. Tip number 6 is just keep in mind the items are not going to be in pristine, perfect condition, of course, like you would getting a standard autographed jersey. Of course, these have been worn in the game, so they might have some tears, rips. They may be dirty, of course. And that's what makes a game used item a game used item and makes it great, is to see the dirt on the pants from when he slid into second base, or a cut on a jersey from when he got into a fight. Those are what make game used items, some of the greatest things to collect there. Bats, for example, some might be cracked. Those are a little bit devalued than a normal non-cracked bat, but just something to keep in mind that a bat may not be in 100% pristine condition, because obviously wood bats do crack. Tip number 7 is to make sure that you properly display your game used items. Make sure that A, you're keeping it out of direct sunlight. B, a room temperature room would be a great way to keep it. 3 is a display case or have the jersey framed. And make sure you keep it behind UV protective glass. Tip number 8 is if you're getting a very expensive game used item, you may want to think about getting it insured. For just a couple dollars a month, you can have your collectibles insured. So in case something happens to those items, you'd be covered for them here. And then, of course, tip number 9 is one of the great things about collecting in the current social media world we live in is you can share this with your friends, and you can even share it with the other athletes too on Twitter. So that would be tip number 9, is to make sure that you share your collectibles. Take lots of great pictures, post them on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, you can even send them to us and we put them on our Facebook or Twitter page. And you can share it with other collectors there too. Collectors love seeing other stuff from other fans as well, so they can get some ideas for their own collection as well. So all this information that you've heard today here is going to be on our blog. I'll put the link here below in our YouTube channel description. If you got any questions, reach out to us. Area code 650-888-7915. Or you can email us at sales@powerscollectibles.com.